So I didn't expect this to be my last cycle. I thought I was going to toil over the decision. Am I going to keep doing peptides or not? And, I was teetering. If you guys have subscribed and you watched my previous videos, I wasn't sure, but I liked having the option. Well, the FDA came in and kicked my option right in the coochie and took the option away. I'll get to that here in just a little bit. So it turns out I'm in week 7 of cycle 3. It's going to be my last cycle. So I'll get to that in a second. If you don't know, you're here probably because you're interested in peptides or who knows what. I got a bunch of other health and fitness stuff here, but I've been documenting my peptide journey, CJC 1295, NODAC, and ipamorelin since March. Now it's almost 8 months in. Have been doing videos every week as updates. I've been showing you what I get in the mail. I've been showing you my blood work, my body scans, the ups and the downs, the benefits or lack thereof, the side effects. I documented all of this. So if you haven't already hit subscribe, go back and watch all of those videos. I had committed to 3 cycles of this process because I really wanted to give the peptides time to make sure that if they were going to do something noticeable, that I was going to allow for that to happen. And of course, the FDA came in within the last couple of weeks and essentially went after the compounding pharmacies who make a lot of these peptides and said, if you keep making these, a particular list, not everything, but all the good ones or a lot of the good ones, if you keep doing this, we're going to come after you with fines or who knows what, which is weird because the FDA doesn't make law, but apparently they've got enough pull that it's not against the law, but they can basically ruin your life if you're one of those compounding pharmacies. So I confirmed with my doctor today. She said, yes, we cannot get any more, and they don't have any more to give. It's already all gone. So what I have right now in the middle of week 7 of cycle 3, my last cycle now, is all I'm going to be able to get. Now, because cycle 3 had been so difficult for me, a lot of those allergic reactions, which I talked about a lot. If you haven't already subscribed, go back and watch the beginning of cycle 3 where those started to happen. Because of those, I had been spacing out, as you know, some of my treatments each night. Either I was skipping nights to try to give my body a break, or I was doing like a half dose or something like that. But because of all those things, I actually have more treatment than I normally would have at this point. Normally, I would only have about a week and a half of treatment left because it's only 8-week cycles, and I'm in the middle of 7. But because I have been spreading it out, I've probably actually got about another month's worth of treatment. So I'm going to keep doing these weekly videos. The 3rd cycle is going to get extended here a bit because of that. But at the end of the cycle, I'll do what I always do, which is I'll go and do a final in-body scan. We'll talk about where cycle 3 started versus where it ended, and then the entire process back in March, where we started versus where we actually ended up. I did lose a decent amount of weight. It seemed like in the first half of cycle 3, I mentioned, I think I got up to 267, and then I saw the scale get down to 254. I'm hovering now probably about the 257 range, so still 10 pounds within that first month. I haven't really lost any in this second half of the cycle, but hopefully we're going to get a little bit more movement on that, which would be the first good weight movement that I've seen in many months. So maybe being patient and committing to the 3 cycles, maybe it's going to end up paying off in some sort of way. As far as what's happening to me right now, side effect wise, it's really nothing like it was that first week of cycle 3. I'm still getting the armpit itching and the ear canal itching on most nights. Some nights I get nothing, which is really kind of weird. A few nights ago, I went from my normal 10 units to 13, and I thought, man, I'm going to go into an itch stir, and I got nothing, no itching whatsoever. So I just went to bed. I'm like, well, I guess that is what it is. So it's really kind of settled into a decent place. I'd rather not itch, but itching is better than whatever the hell was happening at the beginning of cycle 3, which was so scary for me as somebody that's not allergic to anything and never has been in his life. So frankly, it's just sort of a boring process right now. I'm sort of getting to the end of it in doing the shots. Nothing crazy is happening, and I'll take that because it's much better than kind of where I was at. Now, I do want to mention something else, though. The peptides are ending, but I did mention that my doctor had recommended, or at least put on the table a couple months ago, whenever I was at the beginning of cycle 3, whenever I was telling her about these problems, she said, well, what about a low dose omnitrope, like a HGH, low dose? And I said, no, I really want to commit to these peptides. I want to give it the full 3 cycles and see what happens and then decide if I want to keep going from there. Well, since that option's off the table for me and I'm not going to be doing peptides anymore, I'm gonna do the omnitrope. I'm kind of excited about it, the HGH thing. It's a 6-month cycle. I've got a lot to learn about it before I actually start. It hasn't been ordered yet. I just confirmed it today with my doctor, and she says she'll get it lined up so I can set up the payment for it. But really kind of interested in kind of how that's going to turn out. So those of you that are here because of peptides, the journey is just switching gears a little bit, and I'm hoping you stick around and participate in that. Look, all this stuff has been out of my wheelhouse. Doing peptides was a big jump for me. I've been doing TRT since 2019, but when you start kind of doing some of this other stuff, it sort of like levels up a little bit. So I was a little bit nervous whenever I started peptides. I'm a little bit nervous about starting HGH. These are things that me, as somebody that has not been immersed in this world before, is really kind of getting his first exposure to. So again, I'm just a regular dude, trying this stuff out. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, especially through this peptide journey, and I hope you stick around to see whatever happens on the HGH thing. I also want to mention too that a lot of you are taking peptides and you're not doing it through doctor prescription. You're getting it from places that are the research only places or whatever. And I'm 100% for you doing that if it's working out for you. I'm not recommending it because I can't and I shouldn't, but I'm glad for you if it's working out for you, right? For me, again, as a guy who's never had exposure to this world whatsoever, I felt it was a big leap for me to get it from my doctor, right? Some of you had said, just do, some of these other places, Peptide Sciences or Transcend or whatever the places are. I don't remember. And I just don't think it's for me. Like, I felt like that doing it through my doctor, I felt like was a big enough leap. And now kind of moving over to the Omnitrope thing is a big enough leap. For me, my comfort level is sticking with what this particular doctor is willing to recommend. Again, zero judgment on those of you that are doing a workaround to get your stuff without a doctor. Like, God bless it. I hope that you end up bigger and badder and stronger and faster and everything because of it, and healthier predominantly. But just for me, for those of you that had recommended, that's why I'm not making the jump over. Just not within my comfort level, not wheel well. I'm just not comfortable with it. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Week 7, cycle 3, last cycle. Let's hopefully go out with a bang on this thing. Like I said, probably about another month's worth of review update videos, and that's it. So thanks you guys for hanging out. Hey, and as I say this on a lot of my videos, thanks for the comments and the advice and everything, the conversation. As a regular guy who has not been exposed to this in the past, I felt like I learned a ton just by reading what you guys were leaving me in the comments, whether it was questions about what I was doing, whether it was advice about what you're doing or what you've seen working, or just sometimes just saying, hey, I'm experiencing the same thing as you. Sometimes made me feel like, even though this is a new world for me, this sort of thing where you're injecting stuff, like it's nice knowing like there's other people kind of out there, like, there is, but it's kind of nice hearing from them firsthand. So again, I highly appreciate all of this. And one more thing. Somebody asked me if I'm still getting mood swings like I did in cycle 2. No, I am not. Those went away. So that's it. We'll see you next week's video, which will technically be week 8. Supposed to be the end of the cycle, but it ain't. We'll see you next week. Peace out.